Hey guys, Rodney Walker here, and I'm excited today to bring some other expert insight your way to help you to do a fabulous job with your nonprofit organizations. In fact, today I'm going to be bringing you someone who is an expert in the area of helping nonprofits with bookkeeping and also those financial matters. I'm happy to bring you today Nora, and she is the founder of Nora's book. She's going to be sharing some great insight. Welcome, Nora.
Hi, thank you for having me, Rodney.
It's my pleasure. I'm excited about having you because I know you have so much wonderful information to help us to make sure that we do a great job with our nonprofit organizations in terms of getting funded and, more importantly, maintaining those funds and keeping things in track. But before we get into that, I'd like for you to share a little bit more information about who you are and what you do with us today.
Okay, so my name is Noura Al-Masri. I'm a mother of two and a wife, and I've been working with in accounting for since I graduated for over 20 years. Don't count there. I actually since 2011 I started working with nonprofits. And working with nonprofits, I really loved working because you feel like you're giving back to the community, you're making people happy. So I worked in all aspects and all levels, like in accounting, marketing, management, program creation, writing grants. I worked in all levels with local and international organizations, and I loved working there. And then, like a couple of years back, like I just left uh, the world of nonprofits, and I went back to do like some other corporate job. And I'm like, okay, really don't want to do that, so let me just do use my expertise in accounting, and financial stuff, and then go help other people, like whether they nonprofits mainly. That's my main target. And then, like, if people have their small business, like I can help those too. This is like helping people like enlarge, and also with non individual if needed. But I really like working with nonprofit, like fascinating me. So I just started Noura's books like this year, and I'm happy to be helping like few organizations already, and ready to take more and help more people. I do a lot of things. Actually, I do CFO services, bookkeeping, capital services, like, and I'll be happy actually to work with you in the future, and to get people going to write grants, and like to be financially ready to get grants.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it sounds like you have a plethora of services there to possibly help people do an even better job. Tell
Mm-hmm.
me this. So you are working in this area, and I really like the fact that you leaned in and got into something that was more of an interest to you. So many people do a lot of things and continue to do those things, but don't really align themselves with something that's really close to their hearts. And it's cool that you're doing that. Where are you based?
I am based, actually, it's a little weird. I'm in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for years, but then now I'm between Chicago and Houston. Um, Recently moved to Houston while quarantining, like between here and there, because my kids go to college.
Uh-huh.
They're in Chicago, and my husband's work in Texas. So I've been here and there. So that's one of the reasons I started my virtual practice. So
Uh-huh.
like I can help people worldwide, nationwide, but like in in Texas matters. Like I can help them nationwide, worldwide, but nationwide I can help anyone. Like just I have my secured portal, I have my workflow, everything online. I can exchange. Like nowadays, like everyone's familiar with Zoom or any meeting online, so we're not missing anything. So I meet with my clients, like if it's based on their needs. So if they want me like to be talking to them face to face, we just meet in videos. Like if they prefer like just to talk on the phone, we do that. So we work something like uh, best work for them and for me. So virtual is good, but I do sometimes visit my clients if I find there's a need to, but it's really rare. If they're in Chicago or Houston, I can sometimes go, but not so much, especially now with COVID. I prefer to do everything virtually unless there's like a real need for that.
Yeah. So these days, our society has definitely made a shift, especially with everything that happened with COVID. I think it kind of
Mhm.
advanced and pushed the needle ahead. But I think you probably enjoyed that, not having to get out in that cold Chicago weather in the wintertime. You can just do it virtually these days.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
well, that's great. So with that being said, you are able to work with people all over and you help them. Let's look at the nonprofit world in particular. What are some of the first things, Nora, you would suggest a nonprofit to do just to start getting everything right in terms of maybe their books or just their financial matters? What are some of the things that you would suggest?
First thing, like you have to do the record keeping, like financially, like the main paper for registration, just know where they are. Like I know, like some people, like maybe they do it, on the side. They don't have like an office or anything. Just make sure you have your main paper, and then like as soon as you start the record, bookkeeping. Whether you do it yourself or you have help, um, you do it with QuickBook or you have an Excel sheet. Just like make sure you write everything, every single thing, even like your mileage, and keep a receipt for everything. This way, if you're not ready yet to hire someone to do a record keeping, a bookkeeping, then at least like you have something in the place. Like when you're ready to hire someone in-house or outsource it, like there's everything, like you can go back and they can go back and record everything correctly. And if there's an audit or anything, like you can prove everything. You can say, here's what we have, and the reason why. Like if you travel, like this is where we travel, and like keep any email, any paperwork, because like this is also like a problem. Like let's say you have an auditor like a couple of years down the road, you will not remember why did you go there, uh, why did you travel, what's the reason. You're not maybe not gonna find the paperwork. So just keep everything organized and on, like something you can go back to. Like especially now, like it, when you organize it on the computer, it's better than printing, and like hard to find now. Like just keep everything in file, like, and like you have to separate programs. Like if you have like different programs, you have to separate. So just make sure you to do that, and just keep a good record keeping. That's the main thing.
Got it. So
Mhm.
it sounds like a lot of making sure that you pay attention to details and just track everything is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
When is the best time, in your opinion, for somebody that maybe has a nonprofit? Let's say, for example, somebody that's just starting out, brand new. When's the best time for them to connect with somebody like yourself, a bookkeeper or an accountant?
Before they incorporate. Before, like,
Before. I like
before.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
Before you even get started doing any
Yeah.
of this stuff, go meet with them at the very beginning. Okay, great. Now I have a
Yeah.
great idea of why, but share with me your why.
Because like you want to make sure you do it the right way. You want to have it in the right order so you get things uh, going smoothly. You have to know, like, and there's like different kind, like to file 1023 or 1023Z. It's based on your goal and everything. And then the expert can advise you and can like find the right um, the right route you should take. So you don't go one route and then like you find yourself down the road like, oh, I should have gone that route. At least like when you meet with someone who knows finances, or a lawyer who knows finances, like they can advise you and tell you, okay, like there would be like a meeting and take like what's your goal, what you're planning to do, what's your goal like down the road, like in 10 years, how do you see your nonprofit. Then they can help you like see why would you have to do it that route rather than the other route. So it's
So
really better to do it the correct way rather than like fix it later. It's always better
exactly.
to do that. Uh-huh.
Exactly. I know somebody's out there wondering, like, hey man, what is a 1023? I know you, I heard you. You're wondering, like, what is a
Yeah.
1023? Would you share with them what that 1023 application is?
Yeah, it's the application for exempt to get exempt, tax exempt with the IRS. So you have to do that application, and it takes like IRS usually up to 90 days to say, okay, you are approved or you're not approved. And it's a long application. Like you have to know all your details, your board members, a lot of things. So you have to, and your mission, everything you're planning to do, like what you know for now. So they can approve you to be a tax exempt and collect donations. Without it, you cannot really, without being approved for that, you cannot collect donations.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that with us. So those of you that are out there, I know have so many people saying, "Hey, I want to start a nonprofit." Well, she just told you one big piece, which is a 1023 application. So start out
Um,
first checking with those accountants and getting a good lawyer or someone who's going to fill that out for you.
mm.
Tell me this.
I have to correct one thing. You
Okay.
cannot collect tax exempt donations. So
Yeah,
like the donor is not going to benefit from that. You can collect, like if someone's on a sponsor something, they can, but a lot of people like they don't want to do that unless they get a tax exempt.
exactly. I
Uh-huh.
think it's good to clarify that because
Hmm.
some people say, "Hey, I want to start a nonprofit," and they don't really kind of know that. And I think
Hmm.
that's really good because what I'm hearing you say is that one nonprofit, you have the nonprofit that maybe does not have that status, but the other one, you have to have that status so that the people who are giving that donation can get the write-off, right?
Correct. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Let me ask you this: what what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see happening with nonprofits, or maybe those that are starting out, as relates to the books that is probably pretty common?
They try to save money in the wrong place. So
Okay.
they're like, okay, they don't want to like spend on bookkeeping. They don't want to spend on a software. They don't want to have someone who knows how to do that. Oh, we got a volunteer. Okay, if the volunteer is an accountant or a bookkeeper who knows how to do it, that's fine, good for you. But usually it's not like if someone just okay, I'm good with number. It's not being good with number. It's not. It's just to know accounting. You know how to deal with every transaction. Sometimes like every day you have like different situation. What it needs like specific treatment,
Mhm.
and accountant and bookkeeper like they should be able to research, and this changes every day, so you have to know like how you treat it, like tax law changes all the time, especially like these 2 years. So you have to know everything, and you have to know how to treat everything, like rather than like I see a lot of them like going they have their books, oh we did our bookkeeping, and you go really to diagnose and see what's happening, a lot of errors there, and you need to go and fix it. It's easier to make it like correct the first time, and it really can get you the funding. Like when you have a good record keeping, it's there your 99 is correct. 990, I'm sorry, 990. This is the tax filing will be correct. Then uh, whoever can give you money, like grants, people like corporations, everyone can be encouraged. Oh, okay, you know what you're doing, then they be
Mhm.
encouraged more to give you the grant. But when you try to save because oh you still don't have money, just like you're you're gonna need it later. You're gonna fix it. You're gonna pay everything. But I understand you wouldn't have money at first, but this is you have to think about it like it's an investment. Like even if you have to just get donation to be able to take care of what's important, what's going to get you there faster to reach your goal to help people. So think about it like this, like consulting a lawyer, like you need to know before you get into the contract. Same thing, like every year you have to do your 990. So if you don't have a good bookkeeping, it's gonna be a mess. It's not gonna be correct. You might have IRS flag your
Mhm.
organization for an audit, and you don't. That's gonna cost you. way more. But having your books correct from the beginning, this is gonna help you down the road. This is gonna help you like get more funding. This is gonna encourage anyone to give you money because they know like you will be able to account for their programs. You will be able to get them the financial record they will need to report to their the other grantor. So it's not a luxury. It's just like something you have to do in the beginning and think about it about an investment, not just like a part of cost of doing any program you want to do.
I believe you're absolutely right. And I'm hearing a reoccurring theme, which is set it up right the first time so that you don't have to go back and try to fix it up later on. And, I
Yeah.
think you're right. So many nonprofits make that mistake. And not just nonprofits, businesses also,
Yeah.
for-profit businesses make that mistake as well and then have to go back and clean stuff up. So
Correct.
I'm hearing first, make sure you get with a bookkeeper. And as you've already kind of made mention, either that or a CPA,
Hmm.
or the other thing I'm hearing is the legal part, because I think every business, you need to have legal advice, especially in a sue crazed society that we kind of live in sometimes, just to have those things in place. What would you say? So first of all, a nonprofit can come to a person like yourself and get insight. And then once the books have been set in place, what would be next for a new nonprofit, maybe wanting to make sure that they maintain things the correct way?
They have to maintain their every record, not only financial records. They have to like once they have their book in place, like if they want to grow, they have to just do also like this is when it comes like the CFO in the company or um the person who's gonna help um the the board of director or the executive director to reach their next goal, to reach their grants. Like you say, like train your staff, like for grant writing, train your staff, like either like bring CFO and on board or like hire a virtual CFO, which is a really common thing these
Mhm.
days. Like it just started like recently in the last few years, like because like to hire a CFO, it's a lot of money, but to bring someone to help like in my company we do offer that, and a lot of also other
Okay.
companies they do offer that. It's virtual, and this is goes like based on the needs. So they you sit with the people, like you do um you know strategic goals. What's your next goal? What do you want? And then like the CFO will help you
Mm.
reach that goal, and will so like will plan your plan. You'll be part of the team, and then like not you, I mean the CFO will be part of your team, and like together you can reach the goal, where to go, or he can be the liaison with other you know agencies or any place like you wanna like have conduct business with, like to help you reach help your donors or your people in the program, like whether your mission is education or whatever mission you have. So this is something like just plan before you go and do it. Just even like if it's like just individual donations,
Okay.
have a plan and have it written, because if it's not written and if you don't have a budget for it, it's very easy to go out of away from the budget. Another thing, like have a control system in place, so don't have the same people who write the checks to sign the check. Make sure you have two approved well systems, so this will way you will protect yourself what if you get audited, like because this is donations, like you're dealing with donations, so like the government like will have their eye open like even more than like if you were dealing with your own money. Another thing is payroll. Like make sure when you run payroll, you run it correctly. You have to pay taxes for the payroll, you have to file taxes, either have someone in house or like outsource it, like and have it being correct, because I've seen a lot of organizations, they say, oh, okay, we'll just write a check. We'll just, wire money, whatever they prefer and they feel like it. But then, like, what about the withhold? What about the deduction? What about what about the tax? What about the filing? Even like you have to file this. Like it's a quarterly thing. It's a cost you have to do. Like either learn it yourself if you know you can learn it, learn how to do it correctly, and you have to sign to do that, and you're not gonna forget, because if you forget, there's gonna be penalty and interest. Government needs their share, and actually this is the payroll taxes that includes the Medicare and everything that's for your employee, right? So you cannot just skip or like say, okay, when I get time. I know like people who run nonprofits, they always busy, so they have to really have someone who does it and does it right, so they don't get their donations to pay for the taxes instead.
Yeah, exactly,
Like
exactly.
the interest of the taxes, I mean, taxes,
Yeah,
the interest of the taxes or penalty, like you don't want to do that.
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. What I'm hearing, and this is why I tell so many people over and over again. I hear a lot of people say, "Hey, I want to start a nonprofit," and I'm like, "Okay, great. It's some work, just like it is
Mhm.
doing a for-profit business." And I think oftentimes they overlook all of this technical piece that has to be done, because even if it's a nonprofit, it still has to be ran like a business. And what I
Yes,
you say is that CFO, which stands for Chief Financial Officer, that Chief Financial Officer can help to guide the way. And that's a service that you said that you also offer?
yes.
Got it. Awesome. Now, with that being said, basically being able to come alongside of someone like yourself that helps to kind of lay the groundwork, then once that's laid at the very beginning, it makes it easier in the future. And then once that's done, it sounds like you're able to do maybe a few roles, the chief financial piece, but also helping them to maintain it. Do you recommend, especially for a newer nonprofit that's just starting out, that they use something like QuickBooks, or do you suggest that they just keep bookkeeping in maybe Excel or some other format? What do you typically recommend for new nonprofits in that regard?
If they're doing it themselves,
Mhm.
whatever works for them, whatever makes them do it. Because like I know sometimes like if you're busy and you hate doing something, you're not gonna do it. Like whatever makes you do it, like you feel it's easy for you, just do it. Um,
Why did you say hate something? Because how'd you know I hate maintaining my books over here? And
I,
that's why I hired somebody else out to do it, because I'd rather be doing something
yeah,
else. And I think that point, Nora, is really, really important, because if a person can really say, hey, listen, I don't really want to do this, then that's where it makes sense to really have someone that's an expert in that area to really do it, right?
right. And it's not only sometimes people okay they don't mind it, but they won't have time to do it. Then they just like don't do it. For experts, like, or if you know how to deal with the softwares, like I rather like use QuickBooks, and I usually like prefer QuickBooks because most of the accountants, CPAs, bookkeepers use QuickBooks, and
Okay.
they all every other programs they're kind of going behind QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is like the godfather of the bookkeeping industry. So
Yeah.
so like this is why, like, if you want to give access to your accountant later on, if you hate this accountant and you want to go with someone else, you just like remove access and give access to everyone, to the other one. So it's easy to you don't have to switch. And I rather like have like QuickBook Online, because also like everyone, it's easier to maintain and it's easier, like they always upgrade it and they make it easier for expert to deal with it. And so it's easier to have change from accountant to another, to do it yourself, and you will always have access to yourself. So you see, and also they have their app where you snap a receipt or invoice, so it's there, and then your accountant will take care of it and will match it.
That's awesome.
So so they make it easy. You just have to learn it. And actually, and this is another thing. Actually, when nonprofits like they don't know,
Mhm.
they cannot. I'm sorry. I mean, they cannot afford yet, like to have a bookkeeping service. I
Uh-huh.
do training and I sit their books like just so they can do it correctly. And I do like training sessions, like 3 Zoom training sessions for whoever in the organization want to get trained, like either one person or more. And then like they can ask questions, and this is one-time fee. They can do it themselves until they're ready to give it to someone else, or if they want to just hire someone in in house, they can do that. But at least it's set right in the first place.
Mhm.
So yeah, so
That's awesome.
even if so even if you like it, sometimes like you don't have time. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great service, and it sounds like something really cool to help them to make sure they get it set right the first time because there's so
Mhm.
much that you don't know. And I've been there before. I didn't know some stuff, and then my bookkeeper, my CPA had to come and say, "Hey, Rodney, what about this right here?" I'm like, "Oh, that too. Let's get that done." So it's
Yeah.
providing that. You have some resources, and one of the ones that I thought was really, in particularly, very interesting that I believe nonprofits should get their hands on was your book. Tell us about the book that you wrote for 501c3 nonprofits to maintain everything.
It's a really small ebook. It helps everyone, like just it's visually easy to read for people. It just helps them maintain their 501c3, which is the exempt status.
Mhm.
Um, because once you gain that status, you may lose it if you don't maintain it.
Okay.
And record keeping is something that you can is the thing that you need to take care of. And I have all of that in the ebook, like just like easy checklist that you can go through. And actually, it's just they can download the PDF, like it can be emailed to anyone who requested. It's just free, and it just like points some stuff like so they can maintain the 501c3. Like for example, like if you don't file taxes for three consecutive years, then you lose the status and you have to reapply again and give a good reason, a reasonable reason, like why you didn't file. And it's up to IRS if they accept your reason or not. So you don't want to go there. And there are a lot of reason why an organization might lose their status, exempt status. So I thought like to put it in like 3 pages, like in a PDF format, so people can see, and keep it like whatever you want. Just okay before you do anything, just check in there. Like, is this okay with for my nonprofit, or is it gonna be a trouble later?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to for all leaders to have, so they can have something easy to go to learn more about their nonprofit
Okay, that's
status.
great. So here's what I'm going to do. Guys, those of you that are interested in getting that, how to maintain your 501c3, which you should definitely want to do, I'm going to leave a link right below in the description. So grab that and go over and sign up so she can send you over that ebook. And let's get the books straight the first time. All right, guys, so that we can keep everybody, including yourself, on the right road. With that being said, you made mention of a couple other things that I want to highlight before we get ready to wrap up today. You made mention of something I think that some people that are new to the grant writing game don't realize, and that is that all of those grants oftentimes are going to be asking for financial information
Mm-hmm.
like the following. Tell us some of those things that they often going to be asking for.
990. This
Yes.
is the first thing
Let's
for
start right
the last 3 years.
990. Let's talk about that for just one quick second. Give us for those who are completely brand new that don't know about it, give us a quick rundown of what the 990 form is.
990, there's like 3 different ones. There's the card that's easy, but it depends on the revenue, the gross receipt of the organization. They
Mhm.
have it divided between like 50,000 grant receipt, and then 50 between 50 and 200. thousand and between 200 and 500,000, and like, and that, so the different requirements, like they have 990
Mhm.
card, and then 990 easy, and 990 the big huge form. So it depends on the size of the organization. And then
And
they ask.
tell them what it is, because some of the listeners, they don't even know what the 990 form is. It's come Tell them
Mhm.
about the tax part, because I think they will find that
Yeah,
pretty insightful.
yeah, they ask about the board members, their names, their socials, what do they do? Do they get compensated or no? The programs details, their addresses also. They ask about the programs you did for the last year, any donations more than $5,000, you have to list there with the name of the donors and everything. So it's
Mhm.
like really a details, like you're giving the government a report of every single dollar and every single name
Yeah.
participated in your organization mission to help you achieve what you achieved. But you have to report it, and it's public. And actually, it's a requirement to be public, and it has to be there for your donors. So this is something actually by law it has to be provided. So there's no secret in
Very
nonprofit.
important. I hope those of you guys that are listening in right now, she's giving a wealth of information, and I hope you are catching this, because she said that it's public, and that means that I and you can go right now and look at any official 501c3 nonprofit organization. We could look at their 990 form and see what's going on. And that's
Hmm.
really, really big. And that's why you want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, because if you have a nonprofit, they will be able to look at you as well, guys. So that's good. And then what else? We talked about the 990 form. That's something that they're going to be looking for, and it's something that bookkeepers and CPAs and people like yourself help to make sure that they have in line. What are some other things that those grants are going to be requiring on the financial end that will be also very important often?
That's the biggest thing: the financial report, the records that you have, any the programs that you did, and your ability to report. Uh, to report. So like they will ask about even your staff. They ask about you. A lot of things, and you probably know better on this side. But the main documents, like if you have a correct 990, that means you have everything else. But every grant, every grantor like will have like different requirements. But 990 is the thing for the last 3 years. If you've been 3 years in business and with the organization, the organization since the organization started, then they'll ask for the last 3 years, and that's the main thing. So if you have a correct one, and the audited the financial report also,
Yeah.
because like so at one point, like it's, well, IRS does not require you to do an independent audit, but some grantors they required that, like or some agencies also from the government they required that in order to be able to do certain stuff. So it depends. So it's different situation for different, whatever like the organization want to do, they have to comply with it. Like even IRS, if IRS didn't want to do that, didn't ask for that or require it, your state might require it, your local government might require it, other agencies who help you get grants might require it.
Awesome. I hope you guys are catching this, nonprofits, especially those of you that are just starting out. If you want to get the grant funding, you got to make sure you have your books in line, because all of these people who are giving out the money are going to be looking and asking you about, in some cases, as Nora may mention, audits. They're going to want to see those budgets. They're going to want to see that you have your act together. And think about it this way: would you want to give your money to somebody who didn't have their act together? No, you know.
Yeah.
So make sure you get things tight from the onset. Now, Nora, as we get ready to wrap up today, how can those that are out there that need to get their act together and make sure that they have everything in line, maybe somebody that's new, or maybe somebody that's already been going for a while, but say, okay, great, Rodney, I need to get my stuff and my act together. what can they do to reach out to you, to connect with you, to help start moving along the way?
They can book a free strategy session on my website, noorasbooks.com. And there's a place like they can book. There's like a base consultation. Don't worry about that. I don't want you to pay. Do a a free strategy session, and then you'll be able to book the time that works for you. And then I'll call you, and we go from there.
Awesome. So look for that link later on. I'm going to leave two links in the description. One is going to be a link so that if you want to take advantage of that free session with Nora, you could do that. And then also the link to be able to get the how to maintain the 501c3. Nora, you've been a tremendous help today. And I want to thank you for sharing the valuable insight that you shared. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners on today?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to talk to people who follows you because I know like they they're running good work. They're so I just want to like come in and let's talk for free. It's not, and then it's gonna be your decision to go with me or go with someone else. Just try to find someone to help you with your books. Doesn't have to be me. Just go with anyone you trust, and so you can continue to do the good work because it's really impacting the life of others. And we would love to see our our community and our world getting better place because of you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rodney.
You are most welcome. It's been a joy getting a chance to get some of the valuable insight that you share with us today. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Guys, reach out to Nora and go get that book. And then we'll see you on the next time. Until then, remember, be brave, be bold. And I want you, most importantly, to go and be brilliant. Take charge.